There's a book of Micah chapter 4 verse 6. In that day, saith the Lord, will I assemble her that is halted, and I will gather her that is driven out, and her that I have afflicted, and I will make her that halted a remnant, and her that was cast far off a strong nation. And the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth even forever. First and foremost, I would like to take all of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Bashem Kakadash, the ones to the apostles and elders, great Milson Ruel. Peace, blessings, salutations to the whole full to all you brothers out there pushing the word in truth and sincerity. Shalom to all you brothers, stay strong, pushing into this quick lesson. And I'm going to speak about the remnant of Israel, or also known as the elect. Okay, now when you hear in the scriptures when it talks about the elect, or when you read about the remnant, that's talking about the same thing. It's the same thing as the elect. Okay, which when you look up the word remnant, the definition is a remainder. Okay, the ones that remain, pretty much, because the Most High, he's going to destroy 2/3 of Israel. Okay, and the 1/3 is going to be left. But then you're also going to have, of course, 144,000. Those are the remnant of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay, so once again, it's the same thing. The elect and the remnant is the same individuals that the Most High is going to deliver. He's going to save, and he's going to take them up out of here. From the coming destruction of America, other parts of the world. Okay, but anyways, once again, Micah chapter 4 verse 6. In that day, saith the Lord, will I assemble her that halteth. Exactly, because our people, we halted, we stopped from being a nation. Okay, now they call us what? They call us so-called African Americans, so-called Puerto Ricans, so-called Mexicans. They gave us a bunch of titles and a bunch of fake names when we're not even those people, man. Okay, those names that they gave, they gave us, like Puerto Ricans or African Americans. Esau gave us those names. Our true biblical names are in the scriptures. That's where we come from. We make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Okay, from whatever particular tribe we come from. Okay, but we ain't no damn fucking, Africans or Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Native American Indians. Okay, we're none of that shit. We are the true Hebrew Israelites. And it says, so we halted from being a nation, and I will gather her that is driven out. Exactly, we were removed from our land. All these different nations, they, of course we would go off, and the Most High would send these other nations to punish us. So much so that throughout time, we were being pushed out. Okay, the first, side of the, we were known as, the southern northern kingdom, but the first, because we kind of split off from, so-called Latino tribes, split off from the so-called Negro tribes. Okay, so then they were known as the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. And the northern kingdom, which is the so-called Latin tribes, the indigenous tribes, we were kicked off first from our land by the Assyrians. Okay, and then the southern kingdom was kicked out a couple times by the Babylonians, and then eventually by the Romans. So throughout time, these other nations always came up against us and removed us from our land. Okay, we were driven out. Going back to the curses, it says, and her that I have afflicted. Exactly, the Most High afflicted us. Why? Because we went off. We started being wicked. Verse 7, and I will make her that halted a remnant, and her that was cast far off a strong nation. Exactly. So the Lord is going to preserve a remnant of the nation of Israel. Not the whole nation of Israel is going to be saved or delivered, man. Okay, that's not going to be the case, because 2/3 of our people, they're just as bad as Esau, probably even worse. So them 2/3, man, they ain't gonna make it to the kingdom, because their mindset, their mentality is fucked up. They don't want to listen to the truth. They don't want to know about their power. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay, you tell them all this, all this glorious stuff, and they don't want to hear it. You tell them about how they're gonna have slaves, They they damn near want to fight you because they always care for an Edomite more than they care for themselves. So it says, and I will make her that halted the remnant, and her that was cast far off a strong nation, and the Lord shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth, even forever. Okay, so now let me go to Micah chapter 2 from the same book, verse 12. So Micah chapter 2, verse 12. And it says, I will surely assemble, O Jacob, all of thee. So this is what you see right now happening before, your very own eyes. You see the remnant coming, the hopeful elect. Okay, the brothers that have learning from the apostle Graham Nelson on down. Okay, that's the Most High assembling his remnant, his elect, hopeful elect. Okay, we say hopeful because we hope to be of the elect because we don't know yet, but we pray, we do what we got to do to try to be of that number. At the end of the day, the Most High knows who's part of the elect and who's part of the 2/3. So all you could do is hope that the Most High has mercy and makes you one of the elect or the remnant. So once again, I will surely assemble, O Jacob, all of thee. So right now you see us assembling. And that's why these devils, these Edomites, and these other nations are afraid. Remember the scripture says what is in the book of Revelation, how great fear fell upon them which saw them, stand up. Okay, pretty much coming back to our nationality, who we are, coming back to the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It says, I will surely gather the remnant of Israel. I will put them together as a sheep of Basra, as a flock in the midst of their fold. They shall make great noise by reason of the multitude of men. Okay, so now let me get... Okay, there's a book of Isaiah chapter 10 verse 20, and it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob. Okay, it doesn't say the house of Esau or the house of Ishmael or the house of of any of these other nations. Okay, it says the house of Jacob. Who Jacob is Israel. Okay, because he first was named Jacob, but then the Most High later changed his name to Israel. Okay, but Jacob and Israel is the same thing, and it says, and the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. The remnant, verse 21, the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power. And like I said, you see this happening. Us coming back, praising, worshiping Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay, not believing, or trusting in our own selves, not trusting in weapons and carnality. Okay, we're putting our whole trust back into Yahweh Shem Yahushua as it should be. Okay, that's the only way we're gonna be able to make it out this shit. Because when all hell breaks loose, man, the only one that's gonna be able to save us, deliver us, is the same one that's making things, making this happen, which is who? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. But then you're gonna have Israelites that are gonna trust in the guns and the sword. They're gonna turn carnal, and guess what? You can't compete with the number one carnal man, which is Esau. And that goes back to his blessing too, the sword. So how in the hell are you gonna be able to fight with an individual that was blessed to, it's like a warrior, that's trained for 30 years, and here it is, you've been training for a year, whatever. What do you think that other individual is gonna do with you, man? He's been practicing MMA, boxing, and and all this, training with weapons all his life, and here it is, you barely have a couple months in. That other dude, he's gonna dismantle your ass, man. He's gonna make you look like a fool. And that's the Edomites, man. The Edomites, when it comes to their guns, man, they don't fuck around. They know how to use them things, man. They know how to shoot from, hundreds of yards out. They know how to snipe motherfuckers from miles away, man, without a problem. So Esau's he's a He's a sniper. Okay, he'll blow your brains out from a long, long distance. So they know how to use that sword, man. But it says verse 22, verse 21 again. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power. Verse 22. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. Exactly. You gotta remember. Look, our nation is the Salakia. Our nation is the biggest nation of them all. Okay, we're bigger than Esau. We're bigger than Ishmael. We're bigger than the nation of Ham. Okay, the nation of Israel, we're the biggest. Remember, we're like the sand of the sea and the stars of heaven, going back to the promise. Okay, and guess what? You're gonna have Israelites looking like Edomites. You're gonna have Israelites looking like Ishmaelites, looking like Hamites, looking like all these other nations, but really they're Israelites. They're Jake. It's not about what you look on the outside, and how you look in the flesh. It's about your spirit. Okay, if your forefathers were Jakes, and your forefathers were intermingling with these women from these other nations, guess what? You're still an Israelite, because it's all about the father's, from the father's lineage, the seed, which the seed comes from the man. Okay, so we're gonna be the biggest nation, but it says yet a remnant. Okay, the remnant, the elect of them shall return. Okay, shall return where? To the land of Israel, back like the promised land. So only a remnant, only the Most High is only dealing with the elect, with the remnant, not every Israelite. Because if that were the case, how the Most High would be a hypocrite if he would be saving some Christian, some Israelite Christian or Israelite Muslim. Jakes, they're all up into these different religions and bullshit. Rastafarianism or whatever you call it. They're into all this other bullshit and madness. So why would the Most High save someone that believes in another God? Okay, remember the Ten Commandments. Okay, the Most High said, "Look, thou shalt not have no other gods before me." And what do our people do, man? They worship the cracker Jesus, which is really Serapis Christus, and different idols, and they praise them, they worship them. So the Most High ain't gonna be saving no Jakes that believe in other gods, which really are demons, because there's no other gods or no other God but Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Okay, the one true power. And it says, for though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness. Okay, let me go ahead and get the book of Joel. Chapter 2, verse 32. And it says, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai shall be delivered. Hey, going back to the name is a very important topic. And then it says, for in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord hath said, and in the remnant whom the Lord shall call. Exactly. So the Most High, he's only calling and working with the remnant, the elect. Okay, that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. The elect, the elect, the elect, the remnant, the remnant, the remnant. That's it. It's simple. You see, and Jake always trying to complicate, the truth. When look, it's simple, man. The scriptures clearly just, they talk about the remnant and they talk about the elect. Okay, not every Israelite is gonna make it. Okay, but then I'll finish it with this one. Because Jake, the remnant or the elect, we're gonna be all over the world. Okay, it's not just gonna be the elect here in America, but there's gonna be the hopeful elect out in Europe, in Africa, in China, in Russia. Okay, you're gonna have the elect, the remnant, the 144,000 and the 1/3 in different parts of the world. Okay, which Isaiah 11 talks about, and in verse 11, and it says, Isaiah chapter 11, verse 11, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people. Okay, the remnant of his people. Okay, he's going to recover us the second time, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush, which Cush is out there in Africa, I believe on the eastern side of Africa, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. So you're literally gonna have Jace from living in the land of Assyria, in the land of Egypt. Okay, you're gonna have Jace, the remnant, the elect that are from Egypt, from Elam, from Shinar, from Cush, from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. Verse 12, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. So we're literally scattered all over the world. Okay, the remnant, the elect, are scattered all throughout the four corners of the earth. So yeah, we talk about the salvation here in Israel, but hey, there's going to be salvation in you're going to have Yahushua delivering and saving brothers from different parts of the world, from the four corners of the earth. Okay. Yeah, but anyways, with that, I'm gonna say call Yahweh Shem Yahshai, Bashem Chakadash. Till next time, Yahweh Shem Yahshai writes it out. I'm gonna say Shalom.